Kids growing up in the 2000s were spoiled rotten with options when it came to TV. Those with cracked cable packages could queue up cartoons any hour of the day on mainstays like Cartoon Network, Disney XD, and The Hub. And some especially savvy families were already aboard the Netflix train. But you know what people always seem to forget? Saturday morning cartoons. Now, I don't mean the Saturday morning lineups on the 24-hour kids networks I've already named. I'm talking about cartoons that you could literally only catch on Saturday mornings on networks otherwise intended for adults. I'm Dustin J. Wilcox, and I witnessed the demise of Saturday morning cartoons on American broadcast television. This is how I discovered some of my favorite shows. Without exaggeration, it's literally how I discovered my chosen career. So before they're forgotten forever, let's look back on Saturday morning cartoons as I saw them. The best place to start any story is at the beginning, but to be honest, I don't know where mine begins. I mean, in fairness, we're talking about a dude who had just barely learned to tie his gall-earned shoes by this point. My best guess is that one weekend I wanted to watch cartoons, so as was the style at the time, I flipped through channels until I found something flashy enough to tickle my soft skull pea-brain. Regardless of how it happened, I can confirm with the utmost authority that the Saturday morning cartoon block that by far meant the most to me was the CW4Kids, an aptly titled partnership between 4Kids Entertainment and the CW network. So what was the CW4Kids? Well, to put it bluntly, only the most action-packed friggin' phenom 7-year-old me had ever seen on TV. Every Saturday from 7 to noon, I was greeted with hour after hour of conflict and combat of epic proportions. And whereas my parents likely weren't as enthused by the casual violence being beamed into our house, I straight up couldn't look away from that crud. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dinosaur King, Kirby Right Back At Ya, Sonic Freaking X. All of these and more were snapped up from Japan and Americanized for my consumption. This was my first time seeing animation with such a heavy emphasis on long-running story arcs, and it was pretty friggin' sweet. As for original programming, the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series may as well have been the second coming of Jesus friggin' Christ in my eyes. That was some real heavy stuff for 9 a.m. Clearly, the CW4Kids was utterly stacked from its inception, but alas, all good things must come to an end. And in 2011, 4Kids Entertainment filed for bankruptcy. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Zexal, and Tai Chi Chasers were the only shows releasing new episodes, and even the arrival of Dragon Ball Z Kai from Nicktoons, which, I kid you not, changed my life forever, wasn't enough to save this quickly sinking ship. The CW4Kids called it quits with an all-day marathon of Yu-Gi-Oh! On August 11th, 2012, and with that, I said goodbye to a programming block that practically raised me into the man I am today. You know, it's sort of funny. My family had cable back then. I could have easily watched cartoons anytime I dang pleased, and yet something about Saturday morning cartoons drew me more deeply. Perhaps it was that they were the last bastions in a long-standing lineage of American television stretching back to the mid-20th century. Or maybe I just liked seeing muscle-bound meatheads beat the tar out of each other. Whatever the reason, I had a heck of a time doing it, and I hope y'all can see why. Because for better or worse, the TV landscape has changed so drastically that Saturday morning cartoons as I saw them will never return again.